All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning, I'm Sunil Verma and with me is Subhadra Ramachandran. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi assures farmers that minimum support price and government procurement will continue, says agriculture reform bills to help eliminate middlemen. Home Ministry asks all states and union territories to ensure free movement of oxygen-carrying vehicles without any restriction. Centre to send high-level team to Jamun to help contain COVID-19. All schools in Delhi to remain closed till October the 5th. 8 Indian beaches recommended for Coveted Blue Flag International Eco-Label. US bans Chinese apps TikTok and WeChat from tomorrow, citing threat to national security. And in cricket, 13th IPL kick-starts in Abu Dhabi this evening. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said agriculture reform bills will provide new opportunities to farmers to sell their produce, which will increase their profits. He was speaking after dedicating the historic Kosi Rail Mahasetu mega bridge to the nation through video conference yesterday. The Prime Minister asserted that these legislations will empower farmers in the country and will ensure that they get the benefit of modern technology. He assured that the new bills will truly free the farmers from middlemen and all obstacles. The Prime Minister assured farmers that the system of MSP and government procurement will continue as before.
अब ये दुष्प्रचार किया जा रहा है कि सरकार के द्वारा किसानों को एमएसपी का लाभ नहीं दिया जाएगा। ये भी मनगढ़ंत बातें कही जा रही हैं कि किसानों से धान, गेहूं इत्यादि की खरीद सरकार द्वारा नहीं की जाएगी। ये सरासर झूठ है, गलत है, किसानों के साथ धोखा है। हमारी सरकार किसानों को एमएसपी के माध्यम से उचित मूल्य दिलाने के लिए प्रतिबद्ध है। पहले भी थे, आज भी हैं, आगे भी रहेंगे। सरकारी खरीद भी पहले की तरह जारी रहेगी।
The Prime Minister alleged that the opposition parties are misguiding people by protesting against agriculture reform bills. He said that various powers are engaged in confusing the farmers regarding the provisions of the new legislation.
आज जब वही चीजें जो इतने दशकों तक देश में राज करने वाले लोगों के मैनिफेस्टो में है, वही चीजें भारतीय जनता पार्टी एनडीए सरकार कर रही है, किसानों को समर्पित हमारी ये सरकार कर रही है, तो ये भांति भांति के भ्रम फैला रहे हैं। जिस एपीएमसी एक्ट को लेकर अब ये लोग राजनीति कर रहे हैं, एग्रीकल्चर मार्केट के प्रावधानों में बदलाव का विरोध कर रहे हैं, उसी बदलाव की बात इन लोगों ने अपने घोषणा पत्र में भी लिखी थी। लेकिन अब जब एनडीए सरकार ने ये बदलाव कर दिया है, तो ये लोग इसका विरोध करने पर, झूठ फैलाने पर, भ्रम फैलाने पर उतर आए।
He exhorted that these bills will additionally fortify the farmers by giving them many more options. The Health Ministry has said that India has overtaken the US and become number one in terms of global COVID-19 recoveries. In a tweet, the ministry said the total recoveries have crossed 42 lakh. Centre-led, focused, calibrated, responsive and effective measures of early identification through high and aggressive testing, prompt surveillance and tracking coupled with standardized high-quality clinical care have together resulted in this global achievement.
The Home Ministry has asked all the states to ensure free movement of oxygen-carrying vehicles without any restrictions, as medical oxygen is an important prerequisite for managing moderate and severe COVID-19 cases. In a letter to Chief Secretaries of all states and union territories, Home Secretary Ajay Bhalla said it has come to the notice that some states are trying to curb interstate movement of oxygen supplies from manufacturing units situated in their areas. He said some states are also mandating manufacturers and suppliers located in the state to restrict their oxygen supplies to the hospitals of the state. Mr. Bhalla emphasized that medical oxygen is an essential public health commodity and any impediment in the supply of medical oxygen in the country may critically impact the management of patients suffering from COVID-19 in other parts of the country. He asked the states and union territories to ensure no such restriction is imposed on the movement of medical oxygen between states, and transport authorities shall be instructed to accordingly allow free interstate movement of oxygen-carrying vehicles. It is also said that no restrictions shall be imposed on oxygen manufacturers and suppliers to limit the oxygen supplies only to the hospitals of the state in which they are located. From zero manufacturers in March this year, as many as 1,100 indigenous manufacturers of PPE kits have been developed by the government till date, and most of them are from the MSME sector. In a written reply to Lok Sabha, Textiles Minister Smriti Irani said the capacity and production of PPE coveralls for COVID-19 touched a peak of 5 lakh per day in mid-May 2020. As on September 13, a total of 1.42 crore PPE kits have been supplied to HLL Lifecare Limited, the procurement arm of Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, for the use of health professionals in government hospitals. Similarly, domestic manufacturers of N95 masks were encouraged during the lockdown period, and as a result, a total of 2.46 crore N95 masks have been supplied to HLL Lifecare Limited as on 13th September.
The centre has decided to depute a high-level central team to Jammu. The district has reported a rise in the number of new COVID cases in the recent days. The Health Ministry said the team will interact with the district collectors and health officers of Jammu. It will also visit hospitals in Bakshi Nagar and Gandhi Nagar. The team will support the efforts of the state towards strengthening containment, surveillance, testing and efficient clinical management of the positive cases. The central team will also guide in effectively managing the challenges related to timely diagnosis and follow-up. The total number of confirmed COVID cases in Jammu is 9,428. Of these, 3,196 have recovered. There are 6,115 active cases in the district. Jammu has been reporting doubling time of 15.4 days, and the recovery rate is 33.9%. The ministry said recently a special team had visited the Srinagar Valley. The team had reviewed the status of preparedness for COVID management with the district collectors of the valley. The Delhi government has announced that all schools in the national capital will continue to remain closed till October the 5th in view of the COVID-19 pandemic. An official order issued by the Directorate of Education said that online teaching and learning activities will continue as usual. The order noted that school principals are authorized to call staff as per requirement for smooth conduct of online classes or any other work. Universities and schools across the country have been closed since March the 16th, when the centre announced a countrywide classroom shutdown as part of measures to contain the spread of COVID-19. As per the latest guidelines under Unlock, schools have been allowed to call students from class 9 to 12 to schools on voluntary basis from September the 21st.
Delhi Lieutenant Governor Anil Baijal has advised officials and experts to jointly prepare the blueprint for re-strategizing containment zone policy to reduce the positivity and mortality rate. Mr. Baijal also emphasized on aggressive IEC campaign, particularly in vernacular languages, to engage stakeholders for ensuring COVID-appropriate behavior. He was speaking at a meeting of the Delhi Disaster Management Authority, in which Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal was also present. Uttar Pradesh government is conducting around 1,50,000 COVID tests per day in the state. Yesterday, more than 1.55 lakh tests were conducted in a single day. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, expressing satisfaction over the record single-day tests, asked officials to maintain the momentum. More from our correspondent.
Presiding over a high-level unlock review meeting yesterday, Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath said that the contact tracing is also an important factor in containing COVID-19, hence emphasis should be given upon. He said availability of oxygen and essential medicines should be ensured in COVID hospitals, and there should not face any shortage of these essential medical items. So far, 270,094 COVID-19 patients have been cured in the state, and the rate of recovery from corona has gone up to 78.79%. Additional Chief Secretary Amit Mohan Prasad said that at present the total number of active cases in the state is 67,825, out of which 35,124 people are living in home isolation. MS Yadav, AIR News, Lucknow.
In Bihar, COVID-19 recovery rate has improved to 91.55% in the state, which is 13% more than the national average. Active cases in the state are continuously decreasing. At present, 13,111 patients are undergoing treatment in various hospitals of the state. Health Minister Mangal Pandey said nearly 54 lakh samples have been tested in Bihar so far. In Madhya Pradesh, the number of corona-infected people has crossed 1 lakh mark. At the same time, about 77,000 patients have recovered so far. The number of COVID-19 cases in the state climbed up to 1,458 after 2,552 new cases were reported in the past 24 hours. The death toll also rose to 1,901. A report.
As per the State Health Bulletin, 2,554 coronavirus patients were discharged from the hospitals in the past 24 hours, taking the number of recovered cases in the state to 76,952. Meanwhile, the state government has issued new guidelines for prevention of coronavirus infection in the wake of religious program and festivals. During festivals, there will be no permission to carry out any processions for religious and social events. Additional Chief Secretary Home Dr. Rajesh Rajora has said that the maximum heights of the idols to be installed in various public places will be 6 feet and the size of pandal will be 10 by 10 feet. Maximum 100 people will be allowed to participate in the event. Sanjeev Sharma, AIR News, Bhopal.
Gujarat has reported a record 1,410 new cases of COVID-19 during the last 24 hours. The total cases in the state have gone up to 1,20,488. More from our correspondent.
With the recovery of 1,293 patients yesterday, the recovery rate has further improved and reached up to 83.90%. Total 1,01,101 patients have recovered in the state till now. More than 36,78,000 tests have been carried out in the state till date, out of which 69,077 tests were carried out yesterday. Maximum 286 new cases reported from Surat. At present, total active cases in the state are 16,108, out of which 98 patients are on ventilator. 16 patients died yesterday, taking the total death due to COVID-19 up to 3,289. Meanwhile, Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation has added 16 new areas in the micro-containment zone following detection of new cases. Yogesh Pandya, AIR News, Ahmedabad.
In Mumbai, Western Railways will run a total of 500 suburban train services from September 21, an increase from the 350 currently on the tracks amid the coronavirus outbreak. Details from our correspondent.
Sumit Thakur, the Chief Public Relations Officer of Western Railways, said in order to maintain social distancing and avoid overcrowding, Western Railways has taken the decision to increase the number of daily special suburban services from 350 to 500. Of the increased services, 30 will be operated during morning peak hours and 29 services during evening peak hours. All commuters have been requested to follow social distancing norms and wear masks while travelling in local trains. Sonali Khadiyar Patil, AIR News, Mumbai.
In Odisha, COVID-19 recovery cases have gone up to 1,37,567 against a cumulative caseload of 1,71,341. With the recovery of 4,101 more patients yesterday, the rate of recovery has increased to 78%. A report.
In terms of absolute numbers, while the daily count of cases keep on growing, the daily growth rate has gone down to 2.18% from a little over 3% a fortnight ago. The case fatality rate too is on the downswing at about 0.4%. Added to this is the downsizing of the daily divide between infection and recovery, as evident from the new recovery of 4,101 cases against a new infection of 4,181 cases yesterday. Further, with the state government allowing home isolation of asymptomatic and mildly symptomatic cases, about 70% of the active cases as of now are homebound with active surveillance support in town. Girish Chandra Das, Bhubaneswar.
In Karnataka, 8,626 new COVID-19 cases were reported yesterday, taking the total tally to 5,02,982. On the other hand, 10,949 people recovered and were discharged from various hospitals across the state. In a single day yesterday, 179 COVID patients succumbed to the disease, taking the total fatalities to 7,808. In Tamil Nadu, the Health Department is introducing COVID suspects wards in all major hospitals of the state. These are for treating patients having strong symptoms of COVID-19 infection, though their RT-PCR tests show negative results. More from our correspondent.
Globally, physicians say there is the possibility of a small percentage of COVID-19 tests showing false negative results. Of the available tests, the RT-PCR is considered the gold standard, though physicians point out that there could be some cases of false negative too. They say this is one among the reasons for a person having all the symptoms of COVID-19, including the affected lungs, though the COVID test failed to confirm it. To treat such patients, the COVID suspects wards are being established in the state-run medical college hospitals. The special ward at the government Rajiv Gandhi Hospital in Chennai was inaugurated yesterday by Health Minister Dr. C. Vijay Bhaskar. He expressed satisfaction that no positive cases being missed from being treated or monitored, which helps in a big way in controlling the disease spread. Jai Singh, AR News, Chennai.
In our series, Experts Speak on All India Radio, we bring you views of leading medical experts on COVID-19. Talking to AIR News Director at AIIMS in Delhi, Dr. Randeep Guleria advised people to aggressively follow social distancing and hand hygiene norms to check the spread of COVID-19 infection.
Regular hand washing should be done. You should avoid going to crowded places because if someone in the crowd is coughing and has the infection, he can spread to others. Then if any member in your family has fever, cough, cold, he should stay at home and avoid going out so that he doesn't spread the infection to other people in the community.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi assures farmers that minimum support price and government procurement will continue, says Agriculture Reform Bills to help eliminate middlemen. Home Ministry asks all states and union territories to ensure free movement of oxygen-carrying vehicles without any restrictions. Centre to send high-level team to Jamun to help contain COVID-19. All schools in Delhi to remain closed till October 5. 8 Indian beaches recommended for coveted Blue Flag International Eco Label. US bans Chinese apps TikTok and WeChat from tomorrow, citing threat to national security. And in cricket, 13th IPL kick-starts in Abu Dhabi this evening. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
Environment Minister Prakash Javadekar has said that 8 beaches of the country have been recommended for the coveted Blue Flag International Eco Label. He said clean beaches are a testimony to good environment in coastal areas, and India's many beaches are among the best in the world. Speaking on the eve of International Coastal Cleanup Day, celebrated across 100 countries since 1986, Mr. Javadekar said for the first time 8 beaches of India have been recommended for the Blue Flag certification. Blue Flag certification is a globally recognized eco-label accorded by an international agency, Foundation for Environment Education Denmark, based on 33 stringent criteria in 4 major heads: environmental education and information, bathing water quality, environment management and conservation, and safety and services in the beaches. The Blue Flag Beach is an ecotourism model endeavoring to provide the tourists and beachgoers clean and hygienic bathing water, facilities and amenities, safe and healthy environment and sustainable development of the area. The 8 beaches recommended are Shivrajpur in Gujarat, Ghogla in Daman and Diu, Kasarkod in Padubidri in Karnataka, Kappad in Kerala, Rushikonda in Andhra Pradesh, Golden in Odisha, and Radhanagar in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has said that the bulk of additional spending sought in the first batch of supplementary demands for grants would be utilized towards people-centric schemes to help them amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Replying in the Lok Sabha after discussion on one of the highest supplementary demands for grants in Indian history, the minister laid out details for the additional expenditure of over 2,35,000 crore rupees with net cash outgo of nearly 1,66,000 crore rupees. Lok Sabha approved the first batch of the supplementary demands for grants in its sitting yesterday, which lasted till late in the night.
International Finance Corporation has said that $2 trillion will be provided to India to develop green buildings, improve public transport, and to expand renewable sources of energy. Addressing the e-dialogue on ease of living and sustainable development goals 2020-2021 held in Mumbai, IFC's country head Jun Zhang said the organization is committed to urban development in India. Mr. Zhang added that India needs to focus on properly executing its infrastructure and smart city development projects. IMC President Rajiv Poddar said it is time for the people to inspire, contribute and build a new India, adding that where there is ease of living, there is ease of doing business. The government has amended the Public Procurement Preference to Make in India Order 2017 on the 16th of this month. The amendment enables nodal ministries and departments to notify higher minimum local content requirement for Class 1 and Class 2 local suppliers. As per the order, entities of countries which do not allow Indian companies to participate in their government procurement for any item shall not be allowed to participate in government procurement in India for all items related to that nodal ministry or department except for the list of items published by the ministry or department permitting their participation. Specifying foreign certifications, unreasonable technical specifications, brands, models in the bid document is restrictive and discriminatory practice against the local suppliers.
In our series on Seva Saptah, today we bring you a special story on Ayushman Bharat. In the last 6 years, Narendra Modi government has laid a lot of emphasis on improving the health infrastructure in the country to provide affordable and quality health care to the countrymen. The government is implementing a flagship scheme, Ayushman Bharat, to achieve the vision of universal health coverage, UHC. Launching the Ayushman Bharat Jan Arogya Yojana from Jharkhand on 23rd of September 2018, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said it is the world's largest scheme that aims at providing health insurance of up to 5 lakh rupees to more than 50 crore people of the country.
मैं समझता हूं उससे बड़ा कोई कार्यक्रम नहीं हो सकता है, अभियान नहीं हो सकता है, योजना नहीं हो सकता। देश के 50 करोड़ से ज्यादा भाई बहनों को 5 लाख रुपए तक का हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस देने वाली ये दुनिया की अपनी तरह की सबसे बड़ी योजना है। पूरी दुनिया में सरकारी पैसे से इतनी बड़ी योजना किसी भी देश में नहीं चल रही।
Our correspondent has filed this report.
PMJAY is the world's largest health assurance scheme fully financed by the government. It provides a cover of 5 lakh rupees per family per year for secondary and tertiary care hospitalization across public and private impaneled hospitals in India. Over 10.7 crore poor and vulnerable families are eligible for these benefits. So far, over 23,000 hospitals have been impaneled under it and 1.2 crore treatments have been provided. The government had set a target of creating 1.5 lakh health and wellness centers by 2022. Anand Kumar, AIR News, Delhi.
In our series on Gandhian philosophy, today we bring you a report on Gandhiji's views on village economy. Mahatma Gandhi believed in a self-sufficient village economy. A strong critique of Western civilization, he wanted villagers to develop their economies to meet the basic requirements of the villagers, and whatever things cannot be produced should be obtained in exchange of surplus products produced in villages. Gandhiji asserted that capitalism tends to increase the unlimited needs and number of poor people. More from our correspondent.
Mahatma Gandhi insisted on consumption of locally grown products and food. According to him, the consumption of locally produced products can safeguard local market for producers, save valuable foreign currency, and control global warming by reducing the fuel consumption on transporting goods. He was convinced that if villages perish, India will perish too. He insisted on village industries, primary education through handicrafts, eradication of untouchability, and communal harmony. Anand Kumar, AIR News, Delhi.
Virat, the decommissioned aircraft carrier of the Indian Navy, will begin its last journey today from Mumbai's naval dockyard to Alang in Gujarat, where it will be dismantled. The vessel had served the Indian Navy for 30 years before being decommissioned in 2017. There were attempts to convert Virat into a museum or a restaurant, but none of the plans materialized.
The United States has banned download of Chinese app TikTok and use of messaging and payment platform WeChat, saying they threaten national security. The ban will come into effect from tomorrow night. In a statement, Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross said Chinese Communist Party has demonstrated the means and motives to use these apps to threaten the national security, foreign policy and the economy of the US. The initiative will ban WeChat and TikTok from the online marketplaces operated by Apple and Google. TikTok has slammed the decision and vowed to fight the Trump administration's ongoing crackdown on the company. It said the ban impedes a tool for entertainment, self-expression and connection.
After a long wait, cricket stars will be in action at the 13th edition of Indian Premier League at Abu Dhabi in United Arab Emirates today. The fans will have a lot to cheer as Rohit Sharma-led Mumbai Indians will take on Mahendra Singh Dhoni-led Chennai Super Kings in the opening match of the IPL. The tournament, which has been shifted to the UAE due to COVID-19 pandemic, is a TV-only event. In all, 60 matches will be held in 3 avenues, Abu Dhabi, Sharjah and Dubai. All the participating teams have arrived in UAE to fight it out in a neutral venue away from their home conditions. The organizers have ensured adequate safety arrangements in place, creating bio-bubbles. The idea is to prevent the coronavirus cases. Over the next 53 days, it is going to be a tough task for the participating teams to win the title.
And now let us take a look at the weather update for the day. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, the minimum temperature was recorded at 25 degrees Celsius in Jammu, while the maximum will be around 36 degrees. The city will have mainly clear sky. In Srinagar, the temperature will hover between 12 and 30 degrees Celsius. The city is likely to have mainly clear sky. Ladakh will also have mainly clear sky. The temperature may hover between 10 and 27 degrees Celsius. In Gilgit, the minimum temperature was 15 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be 31 degrees Celsius with mainly clear sky. Muzaffarabad is also likely to have mainly clear sky. The minimum temperature was 18 degrees Celsius and the maximum is expected to be around 36 degrees Celsius. In Dehradun, the minimum temperature was 24 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be around 33 degrees. The city is expected to have partly cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. Chandigarh may witness partly cloudy sky. The temperature may hover between 26 and 36 degrees Celsius. The national capital Delhi will have generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. The minimum temperature recorded in the city was 27 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be around 36 degrees. In Hyderabad, the minimum temperature was 22 degrees Celsius while the maximum is expected to be around 31 degrees Celsius. The city will experience generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. The temperature in Ahmedabad is expected to hover between 26 and 34 degrees Celsius. The city will have generally cloudy sky with light rain. Guwahati may experience a partly cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. The minimum temperature was recorded at 25 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 34 degrees.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. PM Defence Farm Reform Bills. Chides opposition for lying is the headline in the Statesman. Hindustan Times quotes him as saying that the farm bills are a protective shield. 10 patrolling points in eastern Ladakh blocked by Chinese is the lead headline in the Hindu. Many areas have become out of bounds for Indian troops now, the paper quotes officials are saying. India's tally for COVID pass was 52 lakh, recovery rate 78.86%, writes the Statesman. The Times of India reports that Goa is worst hit in cases per million and Puducherry in deaths per million. To fight COVID loneliness and stress, Rajasthan to allow families to meet patients, get home food, reports the Indian Express. US imposes ban on TikTok, WeChat headlines the Asian Age. And finally, a survey reveals that 60% Indians go to school on foot, reports the Times of India.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi assures farmers that minimum support price and government procurement will continue. Says agriculture reform bills to help eliminate middlemen. Home Ministry asks all states and union territories to ensure free movement of oxygen-carrying vehicles without any restriction. Centre to send high-level team to Jammu to help contain COVID-19. All schools in Delhi to remain closed till October the 5th. 8 Indian beaches recommended for Coveted Blue Flag International Eco-Label. US bans Chinese apps TikTok and WeChat from tomorrow, citing threats to national security. And in cricket, 13th IPL kick-starts in Abu Dhabi this evening. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.com and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.